Okay, so we are looking at page 701. This is example 22 from section 10.1, and this is the B assignment. So I'm asked to find the vertex, focus, and directrix, and then graph it. It says to use a graphing utility to verify it, but that would be after we were done. I'm probably not going to do that. I can just verify that it's right. Okay, so clearly y is being squared, and if I look on page 697, an equation that looks like that is one that says y minus k squared equals 4p times x minus h. Now, the thing I'd point out to you here is that h is over here this time, right? And that k is over here. And so students will frequently put the coordinates wrong for the vertex when they write it down because they're thinking it's in order. It's not in order. It's in reverse order, isn't it? H is going to be over here. K is going to be over here. Okay, so this one's got to look like that when we're done. So it's got to look like y something squared equals something times x minus something over here. So that means I need y squared minus 4y plus something equals, and now that 4x has got to go onto that side, so I'm going to add it to both sides. That gives me 4x plus something. That y tail is going to get in the way, so I'm going to move it. We'll make it a little skinny tail that goes up like that. There we go. So I would do what to get this? What do I do with a negative 4 to get this? Divided by 2, we get negative 2. And then I'm going to square that, which would give me, and I have to add a 4 here and a 4 there. Conveniently, these will factor, right? Yes, it'd be 4 times x plus 1. So I'm going to put the 4 there and plus 1. And now I can figure out the vertex, and I can figure out what p is. Okay, the vertex, remember it's not this, it's this. So what would this one be? Negative 1, 2. Now that's going to happen every time I've got one that's horizontally oriented. This is the y is being squared, so it's horizontally oriented. Okay, and p, well, 4 is equal to 4p, so p has to be equal to, p equals 1. Now, what's interesting about that is we just got through seeing 2 examples of p being equal to 1, and now here's another one. Okay, so let's graph this. This is actually pretty quick to graph. All the numbers are nice whole numbers, or their opposites, also known as integers. We'll call that 2, that 2, that negative 2, and that negative 2. So we're at negative 1, 2, which is right there. We're horizontally oriented. P is a positive number, so it's going to open this way, isn't it? Okay, which means the vertex, I don't like the way that y-axis got drawn. Let's try to draw it a little more clear, is right there. That's where the focus is. So the focus is where? Which is 1 to the right of this point, right? And now my directrix would be 1 point the other direction, which would be right here. What's the equation of that line? X equals negative 2, because this would be x equals negative 1. Okay, we know it opens this way. It'd be kind of helpful to figure out a couple points. You don't have to. If you just sketched it this way, I'd be happy with that, but I know some of you are kind of curious. So all I have to do is, because this is where the focus is, I'm going to plug 0 in, and it's going to give me 2 points, isn't it? So I'm going to plug 0 into the original equation, because it's really easy to do. Y squared minus 4y minus 0 equals 0. Can you factor that? Which would be what? Yes. So it would be there and there, wouldn't it? Like that. Well, that's sweet, actually. That's kind of nice. All right. Let's move on to 22. And on 22, Now we've got an x squared, so it's not horizontally oriented, it's vertically oriented. You should be able to tell me what to do on this one now. We know we're going to get x something squared, right? Yeah. X what? Yep. So this is going to be x squared minus 2x plus something. We need to move the 8y and 9 onto the other side, so we'll subtract 8y and 9 from both sides. And then I've got to add something to complete the square. What do I add? Yep. Conveniently, that's going to make this factorable again. It's negative 8y minus 8. So what will I factor out? Yep. So what's the vertex? Yep. Do you know what P is? What is it? Negative 2. I must have got some weak pen leads or something. They keep snapping on me. Pencil leads. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and draw this. Now wait a minute. This is vertically oriented and it opens downward. I probably want to move my x-axis up so I have some room below. 2, negative 2, 2, 4, negative 2, negative 4. Vertex is at 1, negative 1. The focus is 2 points below it. 1, 2. So that makes my focus at 1, negative 3. And my directrix would be 2 points above it, so it would be right here. What's the equation of that line? So that gives me my vertex, my focus, and my directrix, and this thing opens downward. It's kind of wide. That point right there, having done it earlier today, I can tell you is negative 9/8. So it's just a little below negative 1, right? So it's not coming down very fast, is it? Nice and wide. Okay, the instructions on 26. It looks all freaky, but it's not hard at all. It says, here is something that's graphed on the graphing calculator. Here is an equation. Fix the equation so that it matches the graph. Well, this isn't a parabola, is it? What is it? Half a parabola. Specifically, if I take the square root of both sides, what am I going to get? Plus or minus 3 square roots of x. But that would also give me a part down here, right? So how do I fix this so that I mean only the part up there? Take only the positive part of it. That's right. So it's just y equals 3 root x. Okay, so you shouldn't have any trouble doing 25 now, right? Don't flip to the back and look at it. That's too easy. Okay, please note that the instructions on 27 through 38 say that the vertex is at the origin. Okay, that's one piece of information. Then in every other one of those, it gives you another piece of information. Okay, and you can use those two pieces of information to figure everything out. So for example, number 28, you got this graph that looks like this, and it takes off this way, and it says it goes through what point right there? But we also know that the vertex is at 0, 0. Which equation will this be? 1, 2, 3, or 4 on page 697? Well, it's either 3 or 4 because it has a vertex at 0, 0. Yes, it's 4 because it's horizontally oriented, right? So it's, how does that read? Isn't it y squared equals 4px? Yes? All right. What variable do we need? Just need the p. How are we going to get the p? No. What is that? It's x. What's that? So I know a y and an x. So what do? Plug them in. 6 squared equals 4p times negative 2. 6 squared is? Equals negative 8p. Divide by what? Divide by negative 8. P is negative. Let's make it a fraction over 2. What number divides evenly into 8 and 36? So 9 halves. So now I'm going to rewrite that as y squared equals 4 times negative 9 halves x. And now all we got to do is simplify that. What is 4 times negative 9 halves? Positive or negative? Negative what? 36 halves is 18. Now could we confirm that by plugging it in the graphing calculator or something like that? Sure. I'd love to do any of the other ones, but quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen, it's not difficult at all. What's the difference between problem 27 and 29? 27 has a graph. So what could you do to 29 to help understand? Yeah, if you graph it, you're going to figure it out. You don't have to graph it, but if you get confused, the first question I'm going to ask you if you come back the next day and don't have anything on your papers, did you graph it? Because you would have figured it out if you'd graphed it. Okay? Those are actually pretty straightforward. So now let's look at the next page, page 702. I'm going to talk about number 46. Technically, 46 is supposed to be a lot harder than number 28. It's only harder because it's a more complicated equation, but it's really not that difficult. They tell you the vertex is at, and that the directrix has an equation of x equals 1. Now, the last 2 times I've done this, I did it so fast I had to do it again, because it's just not difficult. I'm completely brain dead, Mr. Medic. I have no idea. The dog ate my notes. I wasn't here because I had an AP test. What should they do if they're completely clueless? No. Graph it. Give that man an A for the day. Graph it. Because if you graph it, it's going to all fall into place. Negative 2, 1, negative 2, 1. That requires me to have at least that much graph. So let's put some coordinates up here so I don't look like a loser here. And where's the directrix? So that's right here, isn't it? And that's the vertex. So how far is this from there?
3.
Yeah, and it's 3 that direction, which means the focus would have to be, do you know which direction this opens? Is it pretty clear which direction it opens? This is the directrix and that's the point. Which direction does it open? It does. See how much easier it is to figure out once you've got the graph? It's going to open this way, isn't it? So now I still got to find the focus. Where's the focus? 3 further points to the left, right there. So where is that? I think you're right. So the focus is at negative 5, 1. Vertex we already knew. Directrix we already know. We just need the equation. Okay, so we're going horizontal equation. Horizontal equation looks like this, right? Y minus k squared equals 4p times x minus h, right? And we already know what p is, believe it or not, because you told me it twice right now. 3, but it's actually why is it a negative 3? Give me 2 reasons. Well, which direction does this open? Left is going to make it a negative. I moved from the vertex to the focus. I had to go left, didn't I? That's the other reason. So that means that P is, oh, I already know P? Hey, I already know H and K too. What's H? No. No. I'm pointing right at it. -5. So this is +5. What's K? I'm still pointing at it. It's -1, right? Yeah. There it is, only I should write it without the 4 times -3. So I'm going to write y minus 1 squared equals -12 times x plus 5. Is it really that easy? Yes. Yes, ma'am. Oh, you're right. She fixed my error. I don't want to wait. What's the problem here? Yeah, it should be from the vertex, not from the focus. So it should have been what? So this is still 1.
No, that's 2. Yeah.
Oh, that's 2. H1, yes, it is still 1. This one is 2. Yes. Thank you. Nice. Fisher to the rescue. This computer is now in the spinning ball of death, which means I probably lost the video feed at some point in it. No big deal. We got another period yet.